afternoon. How are we all doing? Good afternoon, Ian. Guy, Mark, Fletch, Ilp. Hello from Yorkshire. Afternoon, Gregors. That's bad. I'm going into funny languages now. Afternoon, Amy, Peter, Day Trader, Crom. How are we doing? Excuse me. Oh, God. This 100-day cough thing that I've got, whooping cough, basically. Apparently it's spread 235% increase in infections in the last couple of days or something stupid. Sweeping the UK by storm, this thing. Anyway. Afternoon, Gav. Mustafa. Right. So this morning we obviously had the yen announcement for the interest. Sorry, that was yesterday. Yen announcement. What's the wrong one? Hang on one sec. Yeah, no, sorry, that was this morning. Sorry, I'm not with it today. We had the Bank of Japan announcement this morning. We had some movement on the yen. Upshot of the announcement was interest rates as they are. We will increase the interest rates and probably in April. And the focus is 2% inflation. So basically what they're saying is we want to get to 2% inflation as fast as possible. As we're getting close to it, we're going to increase the interest rates from 0.1 negative to 0. Interest rates at the moment in Japan are sitting at 2.6, coming down at 0.2 increments. So they're assuming that we're going to stay on the same trajectory. And by April, we'll be around about 2.2. Therefore, they will then increase that. And that will be the first time that's happened in 7 years, which will rally the yen. So obviously the market, when they heard that, went, oh, really? And then they've done the usual thing they do with the yen. It's like, yeah, but they always say that. And we've kind of got back to where we were. So we need to see if the US this afternoon gets on board with what we saw in London. And we may get that continuation in the end. But so far, they're all pulling back. So no movement off of that. But the euro and the pound basically are holding pretty stable. A lot of them are holding pretty stable, but no real continuation on it, unfortunately. So pain in the backside. We will see what happens this afternoon there. Afternoon, Virginia. So not managed to bank anything today. Haven't managed to bank anything yesterday on H1M5. Just basically hovering around the normal drawdown. ADR reversals, same thing. Managed to bank 0.71 today off of ADR reversals, but everything else is just hovering. H1 hedging, banked 0.38 today, 1.48 yesterday. Could bank another 0.25% there, but not going to. So yeah, everything going pretty much as normal. DAX and the FTSE this morning, if you're in the live room. So the FTSE broke clean off the 5-minute ORB, straight down to target. And I got a 3.5 hour out the trailer and 2 hour out the first part. So that was lovely. DAX hedged. Got out the DAX hedge off of the bounce. Look at that for an exit. I was monitoring this because the loss recovery target was $68. So I was monitoring this one just to make sure it got close, because I was thinking if it's like $20 or $30 and I see it starting to drop again, I'm just going to close it out because I've got $270 to protect. And luckily it hit it and I was like, phew. And then as soon as it hit it, boom, we came back down again. So that was a bit of a lucky exit. I was going to exit manual at a break even anyway, but just luck, basically. We got to there. So that was the bounce that we looked at this morning. So the two areas we looked at this morning for targets were the yesterday's low target, which was around about 5R. And we looked at the previous day's high target there, which is what we initially stopped at, broke off of. We retested it and pushed. That's why I got out, because it looked like we were basically stabilizing at that yesterday's low level. And now obviously it's on its way down to there. So we'll get the next bounce off of yesterday's low. US indices so far today, not a massive amount of movement. As you can see, the Dow is absolutely flat. So is the S&P, and the NASDAQ's had a little bit more movement. Nothing particularly exciting. It's earnings fortnight kicking off today. This morning we've had 3M, General Electric, Johnson & Procter and Verizon announce. Procter, prices hike. Revenue rises 3%. Johnson now really tops quarterly estimates, so that's a positive. Ericsson decline. United Airlines first quarter loss. So yeah, not a lot else announced this morning. So not really any movement on the US indices so far. Flat. I've got 3 minutes to the open. Morning, Evil. Afternoon, even Evans, JC. So yeah, just be seeing what happens with these this afternoon. Just go with the momentum, basically, as per usual. ADRs today, it's all yen. The only thing we've had that is not a yen is the Euro US, which basically taps straight into ADR. We got a tweezer bottom put in. So your 5-minute reversal alert happened there. Literally just. So not a nice W pattern, but we are still holding. So we're kind of going into a range. It may well break. We'll see. But that's the only ADR reversal we've had today that isn't yen based. Everything else is yen, and they're all very, 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 very difficult to get into this morning, these yens. They have all triggered though. So the Aussie dollar yen was an ADR hit to the upside. So that did just about hit ADR up and then reversed back down again. CAD yen, you haven't had your reversal alert yet. We looked at all of these this morning in the live room. Basically, as we got the ADR hits, and it was off of the back of the announcement from Ueda, you had no chance of getting into these reversal alerts because obviously the last bull move before the announcement was up there. So you don't get an alert until you've literally undone the move. So none of these were valid to get into unless you took a price action entry on them, which obviously you could have done. We had one on the Swiss yen, so we had a nice reversal there. It's not quite played out yet. Euro yen, can't get into. Pound yen, can't get into. New Zealand, same thing. And US dollar, same thing. You are literally in 30 seconds about to get the reversal alert after it's undone the entire ADR move. Not a lot you can do about that one today. Right, let's watch the open. And RSIs, you've got nothing on RSI. It's Aussie New Zealand on the hour, on the 4 hour. That's it. So there's nothing else to look at the moment. We are undoing what we did, or we're sideways. So that's still a nice valid reversal, and that's coming off that weekly high. Okay, let's see where we go with the open. Ooh, a bit of volume coming in there on the Dow. Dow range is too tight. NASDAQ and the S&P will be traded. So the Dow minimum range is 32. So that range there is less than 32 today. 29. So short break on the NAS. Brian, why does your brain hurt? Is that from talking to that man? Afternoon, Baggy. Yeah, I just gave up, if that's what you're talking about. There's only so many times I can say the same thing before I just go, not interested anymore. Why you'll not listen? Right. Just about to trigger long on the S&P. In long S&P. Short NAS. That's not good. One of these is going to hedge. Dow's putting in a fairly tasty range, 47. So there's your 5-minute opening range in on the Dow. Still got 3 minutes left though. So we'll see how far we go with that Dow, but that's going to be hard to get a break on if that pushes much further. If we test this high, that range is going to be too big to trade today, so there won't be a trade on the Dow. S&P's pulling back. So targets wise today, obviously with the US indices, we're off the back of a big rally at the minute. So we've had a nice big 2-day rally, which we've put in. So kind of looking for some kind of pullback into propulsion on these. At least undoing a percentage of that move. So the market's got a little bit of volume or bit of energy basically to push higher. So we'll see if we're going to drop down today. It's kind of sky's the limit. This is the accumulation here, which is beyond ADR today. That's the first sort of support we'll test if we break that low from the previous from yesterday. We have tested yesterday's low on the NASDAQ, as you can see, which is the pre-market low, which we're just coming up to now. So we're just coming to test that pre-market low. So there's yesterday's low. That was the test of yesterday's low today, which failed, which put in our pre-market low. So this area here is potentially a good support. If we break that today, we've got literally as far as you like to drop. So if we break this low, there's nothing to stop us until 125 ADR because it is solid bullish price action there. There is nothing you can pick as a support and resistance area there, so it'd just be a drop. If we can break it though, struggling at the moment. Hedged on the S&P. So same with the S&P. So S&P, we've got downside. We've got obviously yesterday's low, which we haven't tested yet, which we'll probably get some kind of reaction from. Whether it's big enough to get an out, I don't know. And it is fairly close as well. Look, so this is 5R to the downside from that range. 125 ADR to the downside. This area here basically is your downside support. So as you can see, once we break that, there's nothing. So you got two big, well, that is basically one massive propulsion move, that whole thing there. So testing somewhere there, difficult down on the S&P today. Need to watch price action. Target one hit on the DAX, on the NASDAQ. You're kidding me. Hey, you're not doing that. Look at that. That's my TP. That's the candle low. And the spread is about that. Not having that. I'm manually exiting that. I'm sure it's going to hit my target, but same as this morning on the DAX. The DAX did this morning. Or no, was it? No, it's the FTSE did this morning. It came down, literally hit TP and went, nope, not giving it to you. So I was out. There you go. TP hit. Whoops. So smashed through TP2, out the lows, nice pop. So we got a good chance of a run short this afternoon. So don't be too tight with your trailers this afternoon if you're trailing. Give it room to breathe. Same as the FTSE today. FTSE obviously, when we broke, we had the same move, look. Yeah, so we pushed down really hard. You can see there, there was this candle here, look. It pushed down, and then it rejected back up again, and I was like, nah, I'm out. So I got out there, and then the candle closed below the TP. But many times it's gone, I'm not going to close you out, and then it's done that. And I'm like, you learn your lesson after having that happen to you 2 or 3 times. So yeah, so obviously, as you can see, the trailer I had on was 2R. I closed it up to 1R as we got down to 4R. So I just reduced that down a little bit because it was getting a bit tired down here. And then we had that nice, we're talking about 3-bar reversals this morning in the live room. Good example there of a 3-bar reversal playing out over 4. Down, pause, pause, push. Yeah. Fantastic price action pattern, 3-bar reversal. Very, very accurate. Not as accurate on the low time frames, but still works. So big pullback coming in. Dow range far too big, 73 off of a 65 maximum. So 20% of ADR is 65. Range is put in at 73, so that's too big to trade. You're going to find it difficult to get 2R out of that unless the market really, really, really pushes. So if you look at the 2R range off of that, we've got to get all the way down to there. So 3/4 of an ADR needed just to get a 2R. So it's going to struggle. So too big. But if you want to take it, take it. I mean, you still get, you know, some people, I just target 2R because I like to get a 2R. But a lot of people I know, there's somebody trading 1.5R very, very successfully. Put his P&L in the Telegram group last week, just trading 1.5R targets, which obviously get hit a lot more than the 2Rs. Doing very, very well out of that. So you can break that range if you want to, but I personally prefer to trade tighter. So S&P hedges. Looks like I'm going to stop out on the second half of the NASDAQ almost immediately. Look, pulling back really hard. So that's yesterday's low and pre-market low. Orders triggering. Look, they're buying this back up again. So if we can close this candle without getting stopped out, that is going to be the propulsion gap at the moment. So it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's going to completely revert that move. Look. There you go, out. So way too big. Should have just got out at 2R, but if we'd have known that was going to happen, we would have done, wouldn't we? So there you go. There's your propulsion gap. So that's all we've got left out of that whacking great move. They've undone 80% of that move. So 60, 70, 80%, something like that. So we'll see if we get a continuation drop. So that NASDAQ obviously pushing back up hard. S&P doing the same thing. So the S&P's just completely rejected that. Just get me into a hedge and then obviously come all the way back. So upside and downside targets. So upside targets, can't pick. We're at the highs. So upside, I'm just going to leave at 5R, which is obviously just about 1/4 of an ADR shy of ADR. So if we get up to there at some point around there, I'd expect to get some kind of exhaustion pullback. Downside, I mean, that's 125 ADR, and that is just over 125 ADR, and that is 150 ADR. So somewhere between about 120 to 150 ADR is your downside support areas. So it's going to have to be a big day in it to get down there. So again, I'm just going to leave it at 5R at the moment and hope that we get some pushback out of this propulsion move. See if we can get out. Not a lot you can do with that today. Whippy. Dow has broken short. So if you've taken the 5-minute ORB, you are short. Which worked very well yesterday, didn't it? Was it yesterday? No, it's too big yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, again, look. Way too big. It did break though, but there you go. This is a good example of the of why I use that 20% of ADR. So that's your initial cash balance on the Dow yesterday. It rallied like crazy, look, but didn't even give you 1R. You measure that. That's 97. That's 89. So even with that massive rally, it didn't even give you a 1R return. Very, very, very difficult to trade when you get these massive candles go in because the market runs out of liquidity. It's put so much in there. Finds it very difficult to get any real momentum after a move that big at the open. Anywho, we'll see. So it looks like we're going short again. So we'll come back to that in a bit. So FX, CAD Swiss and US dollar Swiss have just hit ADR. We've got some movement on the Swiss franc. A big run on the Swissy there. Quite sure what that was. We've got Richmond Manufacturing Index out at 3 o'clock, and then we've got the CPI for New Zealand. So there's no other news today. That's just a big order just gone into the Swiss. So it just come out of the Swiss, rather. So CAD Swiss, ADR, and the other one was US dollar Swiss, ADR. So Swiss franc getting pummeled. But yeah, so there's nothing much else to look at today. Again, we're just waiting for some of these pullbacks to get underway at the moment. Got another 0.25% I can take off from those Swissies now. Look. I haven't got a TP on that because I got out the shorts on that one overnight. Well, if everything else is going for ADR, let's go for an ADR on the New Zealand dollar Swiss. That'll give me about 0.25%. And pound CAD is also going. So that's about 0.25% as well, roughly. So another 0.5% on pound CAD down into that propulsion. And New Zealand dollar Swiss up into that. Just to retest that area. The upside. US dollar Swiss has put a target on that as well. I guess we're going to come back and retest the origin of that move and fill that propulsion gap. So US dollar news-wise, so the Swiss franc tomorrow is potentially going to get a kick off of these euro numbers. So we've got the French and German PMIs coming out, 8.15, 8.30. We don't need to worry about the euro flash because basically it's a combination of these two put together because they make up the vast majority of the European PMIs. So we don't need to worry about that one. Once we know the outcome of those, we know what it is. So if they all come out as a positive or a negative, the Swiss franc will get a little bit of a push along with them. Other than that, we've got the CAD tomorrow, and we've got US PMIs tomorrow afternoon. So there's quite a lot of movement on the euro and the CAD tomorrow. We've got the pound squeezed in the middle of those as well. So big news day tomorrow. So looking at all of these moves, there's potential for this to go absolutely anywhere tomorrow because we've got euro news and US news and CAD news. So we could easily have an ADR to the upside or an ADR to the downside. So we could find ourselves down there or up there tomorrow. So I'm just going to go with that target. Assume we're going to come back and retest the origin of that move, which is the FOMC rate freeze from last month. Obviously, we can hit target on those before we get there. Even better. Quite surprised how much this is under control at the moment. When we were watching this on the VPS last year, when I was running this on demo to test it, and it produced that huge 140% return. That was sitting constantly somewhere between 10 and 25%. It hasn't really got above 4. I suppose it's early days, but yes, very under control at the moment. But I think that's partly because I'm actually manually TPing it rather than just taking half an ADR every time. I'm actually looking for percentage returns rather than just letting the EA do it. So we'll see. We will see. I'm sure that will go into drawdown at some point. Afternoon, Matt, Mr. Lunary. Diliver. Afternoon. Very, very nice video. It's not a video, it's live. You're not watching a video. Look. Pick a number from 1 to 10. There's going to be a delay, obviously. But just to prove you it is live. Lol, that's not a number, Greg. Look. What? 10? 8? 10? There you go. See, it's live. You just pick those numbers at random. And I'm counting them out of my fingers. He's sitting back shocked now. What? Oh, easy. 462? 4, 6, 2. 69. Okay, enough of the counting. All a big conspiration? You mean conspiracy? Oh, why is it? Friday afternoon? Everyone's going mad. Right. Indices are struggling at the moment. We just pulled back inside the range on the S&P, and the NASDAQ's pulled right back up into propulsion, not going anywhere at the minute. Stuck. So I've got a locked-in profit today of 1.5%. That's the worst case scenario today, is a 1.5% profit. But we'll see if we can deal with this S&P hedge. EuroCAD, ADR. There's a lot of movement going on before this news tomorrow. Now we've got ADR hit on the EuroCAD. Very tight reversal alert on this one as well. We are just in the middle of a massive range on this. So this thing's just not going anywhere. You can see the intraday movement is big. Lots and lots of movement, but no direction. This is literally going nowhere at the minute. So you got an ADR hit to the downside. Not a bad looking long opportunity for the EuroCAD. So this is one of the main contenders for tomorrow's news. We've got European PMIs first thing. We've got Canadian interest rates in the afternoon along with US PMIs. So this thing's going to go mental tomorrow. So possible long opportunity there. But all these ADRs are just ADRs. US dollar yen is a little bit more stretched, or has been a little bit more stretched. That one's already played out though. That was your 5-minute reversal there, which you couldn't get into, could you? So, meh. It's all a bit meh today. So I'm testing out the new EA as well at the moment. Just live testing it. Accidentally made $586 this morning. Excuse me. So yeah, going well. Don't know what the drawdown is at the moment. 132. So yeah, it's working. Quite nicely as well. So far, so good. Constipation? All a big constipation? What are you talking about? Are all trading futures? Are you trading futures as well? No, don't trade futures at the moment. I do every now and again, but futures is just different, and there's no real advantage, I don't think, to trading futures. There's lots of disadvantages to trading futures. One, you can't hedge for a start, so I prefer CFDs. And if you're going to trade, if I'm going to trade futures, I need to use prop. So, and I don't really want to. Wait, I manually intervened? I know. If I didn't manually intervene, I'd make a lot more money. But I do. Bear me one sec. So back in the middle, not going anywhere. I haven't got anything else really to discuss today. 125 ADR Euro US, big move going on the Euro US. That Euro dropping quite hard all of a sudden. And the US dollar having a little rally. Still no movement on the yen. As long as that pound yen holds, that's all I'm really interested in. I just want this another leg. So there's nothing much else to discuss on the FX side today. The ADRs are all, the Euro US is probably the best ADR today. So from a perspective of confluence, you got a beautiful double bottom bounce coming up on last week's low at 125 extension on today's move. So there's a good chance that'll bounce out. I can't see any reason why they would put large orders in today in any direction ahead of the European PMIs and the Canadian CPI and the US PMIs tomorrow afternoon. So I suspect this move is just reaching and will probably correct it today. So there's a good ADR reversal opportunity there. You've got a fairly tight reversal alert on it at the moment. So you'd be getting in with a quarter of an ADR on the reversal alert and then just looking for a push back up into that area somewhere up there today. I'm already long on this from the H1M5 mean reversion back last week, which we've literally done nothing since I got into that. So good looking opportunity there potentially for a long. But everything else is just exactly where it's been pretty much all week, just waiting for this market to undo these moves. So same across the board. ADR reversals, TP hit on New Zealand dollar Swiss. There we go. TP done on that one, middle of that propulsion. Literally just hit target. So yeah, ADR reversals getting into a fair bit of drawdown at the moment on this one. There's nothing individually that's big at the moment. I mean, the maximum drawdown we got is 2.2% on the pound New Zealand. So none of this is getting to the point where I'm thinking I'm worried about it. These, if we get a continuation push on these, then I will start to look at aggressive drawdown control positions on them towards probably the middle end of this week. But at the moment, coming down very nicely. That pound New Zealand we looked at this morning is working out very well. Well, was when I last looked at it, yeah. So this is I posted it in Telegram as well. We looked at this in the live room this morning. We got this triple top resistance, which we tapped into this morning. We got a reversal alert on the 1 hour and we got the retest. So I said this morning, we were here this morning, weren't we, when we were looking at this in the live room. And I said, this would be a beautiful M pattern reversal if we get the retest, which we are. So if we can break that low, that confirmed structure is high, low, lower, high, lower, low. So structure's shifted back to the downside. We'll be looking to come down and retest this area here. But that propulsion gap is where my target is on the shorts that I've got on, which is from that H1 extension. So looks good for shorts. Nice rejection, but very grindy, this thing at the minute. So hopefully we get some negative PMI figures for the pound tomorrow. The other thing is we've got CPI for New Zealand. Now, CPI for New Zealand comes out tonight, forecast to be 0.5 on a 1.8. So that number, if it comes out lower than a 0.5, that will give them the opportunity to reduce interest rates faster, which will reduce the New Zealand dollar strength. So we could have a drop on the New Zealand. So we're looking for a number lower than 0.5 to get a drop on the New Zealand. Sorry, a pump. Yeah, a drop on the New Zealand, but I want a pump on the New Zealand. So I want that number to actually come out higher because I want them to strengthen the New Zealand, bringing the pound New Zealand down. But we'll see. 3 minutes to go until the news. Manufacturing index doesn't do a lot, but keep an eye. We'll just quickly watch that. See if we get any movement off of the numbers at 3 o'clock. I'm testing out the OBR on MT5. ORB. Can't seem to get the settings right. What do you mean right? In what way? You're not giving much information there. What's wrong? Got tips on where I can find more info? Well, everything you need to know about the ORB is on the ORB page. There's a video which is 1.5 hours long on there, which explains 2 hours long, sorry, which explains the entire strategy, the logic, all the settings, everything. So if you haven't watched that video, watch that video. If you haven't read the manual, read the manual. If you haven't looked at the set files, backtest results, look at those. If none of that answers your question, I can't help, because that's everything I know about it. So it's all in there. I'll link that page, so put that in the chat. If there's something specific you're struggling with, let me know. Okay, 1.5 minutes till news. Yeah, that should be enough info to keep you busy. Everything you need to know. All of my products, every single one, whether it be an indicator or an EA, has got a manual and a video. It goes into detail about everything it does, why it does it, how it does it, and all the settings and everything, and what everything does. The reason being, I don't want to be a support agent. So I know as human beings, especially men, we don't like reading manuals. We tend to use things and then go, why is that not working? Look it up in the manual. But with something that actually trades live money on your account, it's probably better to read the manual first. We're not having a go. I'm just saying that's what I would do as well. But it's all there. 10 seconds of news. I'm not anticipating a big move off of it, but you never know. Tiny little gap up on the S&P. Slightly bearish US by the looks of things. Yeah, minus 15, so slightly bearish. Very minimal though, so not going to get a lot off that, I don't think, today. So good example of the Dow and the opening range, the size of opening range affecting price action afterwards. Get this a lot. If you get a whacking great move like that, market struggles to get out of it because it's such a big move. Yeah, you can't trade a breakout strategy on something that's moved 30% of its normal average daily range. It's going to be hard to break that. Haha, that hurts. What, about men reading manuals? It's true though, isn't it? What we do. I did it with some headphones, right? I bought some headphones when I went on holiday this year. I bought some new wireless headphones at the airport. Yeah. So I got them out of the box, put them on, and there was only 3 buttons on it. Volume up, volume down, and sync. So I pressed the sync button, went on my phone, not working. I mucked about with it, pressed it, spent about 10 minutes. Then I opened the box, looked at the manual, and went, hold the button for 3 seconds. That's all I needed to do. It took me 2 seconds to read that I needed to hold it for 3 seconds, but I wasted 10 minutes trying to figure it out myself because I'm a man. That's what we do. Caveman brain always tries to kick in first. Yeah. That's not working. Definitely not working now. Do not hit. Oh. That's what we do. When it comes to money, it's important not to do it. The amount of people that contact me in Telegram and say, I've just bought your EA. I've stuck it on the chart. It seems to be taking too many trades. What's wrong? My first question is, what do you think it should be doing? I don't know. So you've put something on your chart which is trading money and you don't know what it's doing. Come on. If it involves money, use your brain, not the caveman brain. The pilot, brain surgeon brain. That's one you need. We've got no movement still. So we are completely wick bound here. Market seems to now be dropping a little bit though. So it looks like we're going to break short at the moment. We'll see. But we're stuck. So all I'm going to do with the S&P is leave the 5 Rs intact today. So 5R to the upside, 5R to the downside, obviously including the offset. So yeah, that's all we can do really today. There's I'm not sure there's enough volume or anything to actually get a move today. So if we are still mucking about in here later, I mean, I've got 120 locked in on it. And what have I banked on the NAS? Banked 100 on the NAS. I've banked 400 or something this morning. So I've got 1.5 banked. So I don't think I'm going to push this today. You could try and get out at yesterday's low and yesterday's high. So those are your sort of close reaction points, which will be opportunities to exit. That's 2R to the downside. Yeah, so it's 2.5R to the downs to the upside and 2.5R-ish or 2R to the downside. So you've got that. You're going to have limit orders sitting there. Whether or not there's enough to pop it and give us an exit, don't know. But if it's not moving very far, that is your alternative to do with it today. But can't really do a lot else today. It's stuck. Right, and everything else basically here, I'm just waiting on. So I'm just going to monitor all of this lot. Anything that gets sort of quarter to a half an ADR, I'll take. Main thing I'm monitoring is this pound yen, which is just dead. It's completely died today. And the US dollar yen, which is obviously rallied back up and undone that V-shaped, got V-shaped recovery on that move from this morning from the yen. So nothing. Again, we're doing this up, down, going nowhere thing, which is what we seem to have been doing pretty much all of December and half of January. We're just doing this all the time. We get a move and then we sit there for 3 or 4 days, which all it does is it gets you into drawdown, which takes longer than usual to get out. These situations just cost you swaps. It's annoying. There's nothing you can do about it. It's the cost of doing business. But the swaps start to build up so much on the account, it becomes difficult to make money out of them. But I need to put a TP on that. Up there, 150 ADR. I'm just assuming we're going to stay range bound, so somewhere up there, get out. So yeah, same with the ADR reversals and the hedges, which are doing okay. So got targets set on these, so might be able to bank another 0.25% out of the ADR, the hedging set file today. Apart from that, not a lot else to look at, is there? Oh, just got out of something else there as well. This is running on the 1 minute time frame. Before you ask, I'm only running it on the 1 minute time frame to test, because the 1 minute time frame is the fastest time frame, obviously. So for testing purposes, to make sure it's doing what I want it to do on candle close, drawing properly, all that sort of stuff, I always test on 1 minute. So I'm using 15-minute RSI extensions to get me into 1 minute trades, just to test functionality, basically. And make sure the buttons will work, basically, as well. Can I go on? Yeah, so there you go. Pound Swiss, let's go long. Button didn't work. Need to fix that. I need to get rid of those lines as well, don't we? When we close a trade, we need to reset all those variables. Just thinking while I'm food good, fire bad. Food good, fire bad. Yeah, caveman. Food good, fire bad, but fire cooking food good. 9 SMA, 9 EMA, that is. Not a lot of difference in it, really, but it's just for testing so I can get some entries in. But 9 EMA is brilliant as a signal indicator. When you want to, when you got a condition you want to get in, 9 EMA is good. It's quite a fast EMA though, so 20 EMA is safer. 9 is good. Bear in mind this is the 1 minute chart, so obviously it's absolutely useless on the 1 minute chart because it's literally signal, 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 signal. But on higher time frames, the 9's good. I wouldn't use it on a 1 minute time frame. I wouldn't do anything on a 1 minute time frame. It's just too dangerous. But right, so I will monitor that. I need to just going to enlarge that to remind me that I need to delete all this stuff. So I'm going to leave it there today. S&P stuck, NAS is stuck, DOW is stuck. Everything's stuck. So I think we're waiting for the Canadian rates tomorrow. I don't think they want to do an awful lot with anything until we've got these initial batches of high earnings stocks out the way this evening. We've got AT&T in the morning as well. And obviously we've got the Canadian news tomorrow as well and all the PMIs. So I think today we're going to be pretty sideways and then the news will obviously kick everything into action tomorrow. So I think we need to wait until that happens. So I will love you and leave you there. Anything you need, let me know in Telegram, but I'll just be monitoring this lot today and see if we can get some more exits, bank a little bit more, but probably sideways today. So good day on the indices. Pretty good day on Forex as well, but stuck. So can't remember who did it, but the 5-8-13 EMA strategy was big for a while. 5-8-13. That's an alligator, isn't it? Isn't that the alligator? Yeah, there you go. Look, 5-8-13. That's the alligator strategy. Oh, similar to it. Yeah. Well, I think the alligator seems to work on 5-8-13 as well. Jaws is 13. Teeth is 8. Lips are 5. Yeah, that's an alligator. Look. 5-8-13. Yeah. Everything's good for a while. And everything becomes popular for a while. And then everybody realizes that everything has exactly the same odds of working as everything else. Well, nobody does. That's the problem, isn't it? If you did realize that everything you did worked the same as everything else, you would stop system hopping. Hence, Bootcamp. Alligator's great. Gives you a really good reason to get in. But doesn't mean anything, does it? The teeth have got to be above the lips, which have got to be above the jaws. If those three conditions meet, go long. But those three conditions don't meet until the move is up there. You get a signal to go long and you go, oh, I'm going to go long. But you've just missed it. You'd have used the 9, you'd have got in there. Happy days. It's just a moving average. It's just, moving averages are the worst indicator in the world because they lag price. They're good for some things, but virtually most of the time they're crap because they lag by, let's say, for example, using a 20 moving average. What's the point in knowing where the price was over the last 20 candles? That's happened. That doesn't help me at all, does it? Let's get 3 of them and put 3 of these crappy lagging moving average indicators together and use all 3 of them as a signal. That gets 3 times worse. Yeah. And then you've got other MAA indicators out there, ribbon-based ones, which have got about 5 or 10 moving averages. Just gets worse and worse. The Golden Cross, worst signal in the world. I can show you a million times when it worked, and I can show you 1,000,001 times when it didn't. 50-50. They're all the same. Yeah, someone rebranded it. Yeah, there was. I've got a video about that, Brian, funnily enough, haven't I? On the website. But if anybody new in here, there's 73 people in here. If you haven't seen this, go and watch it. You will never buy a course again. Or an indicator, probably. That one. Basically, all you buy, every time you buy anything, is a recycled version of something else. They all have the same odds of working. Everything's the same. 5813 is too popular on different countries like Turkey, is it? It goes in waves and cycles. You find things become popular and they work for a while. And what tends to happen is it's all to do with social. It's forums, it's trading groups. Like someone will go, I've been testing this indicator out and I've been using it over the last 4 weeks and it's getting phenomenal results. Look at this. And they go, and everyone goes, ooh, I'm going to try and use it. And then they use it and it gets phenomenal results. And then it's like, ooh, and then it expands. What's happened is everybody that's been using that indicator has been using it while the market regime is like this. And that indicator works fantastically in a range. And then all of a sudden it breaks out. And that indicator fails. So for 2, 3, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it works like a dream. And all of a sudden it fails. And everyone goes, oh, it's not as good as we thought. Throw it away. Wasted 2 months of my life. And now I'll try another indicator. Oh, look at this. Beautiful breakout indicator that's amazing in trends. You use it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, and it works. And then you go, oh, it's not working anymore. Throw it away. That didn't work. And then you buy another indicator or you follow another strategy, which is a variation of the one you tried last time it was in a range. And now this one works. Funny. It's a range-bound strategy. And then it might breaks out and you go, that didn't work. There's 6 months of your life gone. Let's try the next one. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. That's what that video teaches you, the cycle you're in. You're stuck using the same thing over and over and over again. Yes, it will work, but only for a period of time. So if you can identify when a market regime is going to change, you can crack it. But you can't, because nobody can crack that, because you can't see into the future. And if you can't see into the future, how can you possibly predict what strategy you need to use for the next few weeks? You can't. So just get in and wait. They'll get you out at some point in the market. Not your choice. Like a drawing session. It's always like a drawing session in here. I spend my life drawing stuff. Like I want this to go up. So if you want something to go up, you draw a rocket underneath it. Yeah. So that will now go up. If you wanted something to come down, you draw a weight above it. 10-ton weight. Yeah. And that will come down. So there's a video on my website about this strategy as well. Actually, it's not on my website, is it? I don't think I put it on the website. It's on the YouTube channel. There's a video about that strategy if you want to watch that video as well. This one. Secret trading strategy. But I'm sharing this with you guys. Don't, for God's sake, don't share this anywhere, because if everybody finds out about this, the market will stop working because everybody will know how to do it. So do not share. I'm still in for FD now. I'm still in the DAX hedge. Where would I exit? you should have already got out, really. I mean, the target was here. 5 ADR, 5R. That was the exit, which you should be out on. Lovely 3-bar reversal played out over 4 bars. Other than that, it's difficult because it's pushing back up again now. So, I mean, that's what we're playing off of. Other than that, you're looking at yesterday's low. I'm not sure it's going to get there, though. Now, it's rejecting this level. Look, the sellers have slammed straight into this propulsion gap from yesterday, which is the open in New York. They've rebought the open of New York twice. We've retested it. Sellers have tried to crack it again. Buyers have rebought that level again. So we're going back up. Sellers have had 3 or 4 attempts at this area today and failed. So I would say probably going back up again, but you've missed the exit. You want to get out when the market's coming down. So maybe try a double bottom off of there. If we get back down to there, which will be a quadruple bottom, which is the propulsion gap from yesterday. But you're coming back into the short, which was there, aren't you? So, I mean, you could literally get out right now and it might push up, but it might also come back down to there. You're better off waiting. You're much better off exiting when the market is going the opposite way to what you want to go, because it can't go down forever. It has to pull back. Yeah. So, or wait for a confirmed bounce like I did there. I got out really late on that, but I got out because we broke the high, look. Yeah, we double bottomed. I wanted confirmation we were going up, which we were there. I was lucky. It was a lucky exit today. But the only reason I did this was because I've already banked $270. So I had loads of profit to play with. So I don't know. It's difficult to get out of that now because in hindsight, now we know that's the low. But absolutely no movement today. Release that as a bot and you'd be number 1 on the MQL5 market. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure how you'd release an EA that can draw. Don't think it's going to work. Right. I shall leave you there. Market's stuck. Totally stuck. Well, the indices are totally stuck. We've got a little bit more movement. Euro CAD 125 ADR. So there's a little bit of movement coming on the rest of the market and the FX at the moment. So some decent moves kicking in, but mainly Euro and CAD based at the moment. So the Euro, a little bit weak. Little bit of strength coming through in that US dollar and in the Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar really rallying. Look at US dollar CAD coming down really hard. So everything will be coming down hard against the Canadian at the moment. So big moves coming into the Canadian dollar. This is ahead of obviously the interest rates. So market is getting out of or getting into Canadian positions in anticipation for tomorrow's news. Just basically taking profit on their CAD moves. And getting as flat as they can, I would imagine, before that comes out tomorrow afternoon. So it won't necessarily be a continuation. It's just a bit of volatility before the news tomorrow. So, all right, so I'll leave it there. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Telegram. I'll be dealing with that hedge. Other than that, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 7:50 in the morning for Frankfurt, 2:20 in the afternoon for the US session. We'll see how we get on tomorrow. And obviously, bear in mind, any New Zealand pairs you're in, or Australian pairs, you've got volatility coming this evening with the CPI. So be aware of that. We've got some moves coming on New Zealand and Aussie dollar overnight. All right. Have a good one. Anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.